I love the ocean. Like, if I could, I'd spend all day in the water. That's one of the main reasons I moved to Imperial Beach. Honestly, like, it's one of the best waves in all of San Diego County. It really is. If you like a strong, powerful wave that has good shape and is consistent, this is where it's at. I originally was raised in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. It's the tropics, so for me, anytime it rained, it was just rainwater. It was muddy, brown water, but it was rainwater, so it was fine. So when I moved here, I had the same assumption, and I didn't realize that sometimes when I went out in brown water, that was sewage water. So in the summer, you have currents from south to north, especially when there's south to north swells. So a lot of that contamination, even though it's diluted by the time it gets here, it may not have a discoloration or even an odor, but it could definitely have pathogens in them. Studies have shown that Tijuana River contaminated waters have a 10% chance of having hepatitis A in those waters. And that's just one example of the many pathogens that can be found in these polluted waters. Other impacts can be, infections of the skin, gastrointestinal infections, eye infections, ear infections. I started helping out and doing beach cleanups, and we started a citizens group, and I got a lot of experience doing like advocacy up in Sacramento and trying to get our elected officials to pay attention to this issue. That's how I became involved with Wild Coast. At the end of the watershed, we have the beautiful ecological resource, which is the Tijuana Estuary. It's federally protected. It's home to over 300 bird species, serves as a nursery habitat for important commercially significant fish. And I mean, I can go on and on forever. It's a beautiful resource. I think both countries' responsibility to protect. The environment knows no borders, and just because we decide to put that line in the middle of it doesn't mean that wildlife and ecology are going to also separate. Look what I found. A zucchini. Along with the sewage, you get human waste, obviously, and seeds that come out of that germinate all throughout the valley, and the conditions are pretty good for produce. So, yeah. Zucchini. Whatever infrastructure we do have in Tijuana is aging, and on a very frequent basis collapse, like these pipelines collapse and cause these massive sewage spills. You have two states, right? Two countries trying to address the issue in their own way and within their own judicial and legislative systems. Technically, you can't have a country telling another country what to do. You can have soft treaties or agreements that two countries can agree to, but there's no real binding power behind it, in the sense that if they decide not to do it, you can't take them to court. It's really interesting because we have a line, a man-made line that we decided to put in place to separate both countries. The fence is like, I guess you could say, to the environment, to Mother Nature, it's a joke. Nothing's gonna stop the water.